I have probably prepared more this week than I prepared at any other point in the campaign for a session. And I guarantee you, I still am not prepared because there's so much that can happen depending on what you guys do. And like, I've tried to get a good grasp on all the possibilities, but it's just, there's so much here. So hopefully you'll be able to bear with me if I have to pause for a bit and look something up, grab the books and digest for a second. So
I don't like missing stuff too much, so you feel free to guide a little bit more if you want, I guess. But I know you're probably also just wanting to see what we do just as ourselves too. So
yeah, I want to give you guys...
always tells me, he's like, what would your character do? He never gives you advice. What would your character do? Yeah,
I'm pretty bad about I don't like to railroad as much as possible.
Yeah, I know.
Now, that's
you
not
did
just...
it correctly like before we ended last time.
Exactly.
We were heading totally wrong direction.
Like I said, you guys were already going to a place where it's like, I have no idea what's up there. So it's like, no, you're going the wrong direction. So what I should have done is like, are you following the guard's direction? Is what I should have said. And it's like, oh, in that case, your character action would have been this way, sort of thing.
Right.
Anyway,
give us more Baldur's Gate choices, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and I'll try my best to keep you guys relatively on track. But in this session, of course, you guys are kind of up against the clock. So I'm hoping that mentality will lessen the chaos that could ensue.
Indubitably.
But yeah. In any case, welcome back to, of course, the Curse of Strahd, the Beckoning. I am Zell, your host and dungeon master for this campaign. And welcome everybody
back.
That's
too many Zells for me.
It's Zell, the Zell, yes. So
the Zelliest of Zells.
Or, as people just call me Zell online.
Don't Zell yourself short.
Yes, I'm going to use it. I am going to use it.
Please do.
Oh, man. I already use zealots as the people who, the what do you call them? The subscribers or whatever for my channel. They're the zealots. So anyway, it's off. So to start, who wants to roll a dice? Because D&D, it has to have dice.
Do
All
it.
right.
Which one?
Roll any dice you want, and we're going to be doing high and low. So because the party is currently split up, yeah,
do a D100.
Which one do I never get to roll? I never get to roll this one. It's not a 100. It's got 1, 2,
probably
3,
12-sided dice.
4, 5. It's got 10 sides.
Ooh, okay.
But they're all in multiples of like 0, 0, 60,
That's part
40,
of the D100.
80,
Yeah.
70. Oh.
D100.
That's the D100, which you roll alongside the other one that doesn't have the zeros.
Oh, I've just been using an app to roll a D100 because I was like, I don't have 100.
Oh, yeah, you would use 2 10-sided dice basically, and one of them has the double zeros. Is the high number?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you have the high number and you have the low number.
The more you know.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Just got that banner. The more you know.
The more you know. Okay, well, shit. Okay, well then I'll do the D100. Let's see.
That's so funny.
Shut up. 88.
88. All right. In that case, we're going to be starting off with our group number 2, technically, the ones who are a little further ahead a little behind timeline-wise, but that's okay. We'll kind of have them all set up here in a moment. So yeah, that means Grimbald and Jax of Candlekeep, who are with 3 children, and the Lady of Barovia, Ireena Kolyana. So
wait, where are we on this map?
We are on the far right.
Look on the right, yeah.
All right, I only see 2 children.
Yeah, we lost him.
Okay, I see it.
He ran in ahead last time.
Right.
And so you guys have had a conversation with the girl. I'll say last time on Curse of Strahd. Let's start there. You all not only successfully defeated at least at least one hag and saved some children. You deduce the fact that they were in fact cursed. A spell of polymorph was cast upon them, but you also managed to free the children. You found the 3 Myrtle, Freak, and Lucian is already or Lucian or Lucius? I think it was Lucian. Lucian, who is already kind of marched his way through the guards, who just kind of roll their eyes at the little scamp of a boy. But yeah, you guys have traveled from that tower. You had to stop a little bit halfway through to camp. It was getting a little late to be traveling at night. But yeah. Yeah, you found a good little hoard under the bed of some treasure back there. And during your time at camping, you realize that it's going to take you a little while. Children, they need a little bit of care and concern about them. So you guys split up. Lunaris and Zoltan decided to go ahead, kind of double time it, because you guys are also under the clock. You have at least about 24 hours before Madame Eva's prophecy of a child in danger will come to pass. And so you have 24 hours to figure out who this girl is and, where exactly she will be actually, potentially killed. And so that's why you guys went ahead of time. You guys have taken a couple hours longer for you guys to actually get to Vallaki, and you've spoken to a couple of deputies or patrolmen or guardsmen who are a little less than friendly, or at least one of them is very less than friendly to strangers, and you have managed to, at least in theory, gotten through the front door. I'll also just mention this before we continue. I have a little extra section here, which you guys should be able to see, which is the continuation of your party quest journal, which is all your individual quests on the right column, and a central one which talks about your current, incomplete, or failed quests back in...
Oh, shoot, I moved it.
So,
okay.
You gotta lock it.
I thought it
can
was
I make
locked.
a small request?
Yes.
Can we change some of the colors on that?
Sure. What would you like to change?
It's just a little hard to read.
I think it's probably
hard to read.
I think it's the white is probably the hardest to read, right?
It's the blue against the white is really hard to read. That's better.
That's her way of saying she doesn't like blue, and I know. No. I like me.
No. I like blue. I like blue, but the blue against the white was hurting my eyes a little bit. It was a little hard to read.
That
looks a lot better. Yeah, right there.
All right. Sounds good. No problem.
Can somebody read it to me, since I can't read?
Yeah, we got you. We got you, Grim. Don't worry.
It's all good. So anyway, just to kind of quickly, because I had set this up in the village of Barovia, but you obviously have kind of gone there for a while. For those who don't know, there is another player, Kinyadi, or Adam, so he's... we're not sure if he's going to be able to join us in the future, but I do have his quests. I do have him set up. He's not gone, in terms of his character, but he is missing, and nobody knows where the heck the guy is. So I guess we'll find out in the future. But yeah, the current quests that you're on are the Daughter of Barovia, which of course is Ireena. Your main quest that you were on was to get her safely to Vallaki and get her set up so that she's safe from Strahd, who seems to be pursuing her for some reason. You also picked up some orphans, which is what you're kind of doing right now, and getting them back to the orphanage, or somewhere safe anyway in Vallaki. There's also a Vistana in danger, which is the little girl who's a Vistani. You also were given several prophecies. One of the prophecies that was that there is a tome of knowledge that does exist somewhere. Does anybody remember where that might be found? What the prophecy was?
Let me see if it's in my notes. Hold on. The Tome of Knowledge.
I gotta get everybody else's brains exercised here.
Tome of
Brain?
knowledge.
Definitely not mine.
Do you take notes, Sean?
Yeah, like in high school.
So no. Sean's using my note. Grim is cheating off of my notes, is what I'm hearing. Got it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Got it.
Pretty much.
I don't call it cheating. I call it peeking. Okay.
Okay.
I take a quick peek.
Did you call it a tome of knowledge? Oh shit! What did I
didn't.
do?
I didn't specifically say those words. I did kind of generically, but I didn't use.
Treasure can be found. Great knowledge. A village drowned.
Right. So there's let me just see here.
I should get a bottle of water.
Is that what you're indicating?
Interesting. I had it written down as something else, but
I just read it backwards. You said good in protection, hope, a village drowned, treasure can be found, great knowledge. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know why I went dyslexic and read my notes backwards, but we'll not talk about it.
Oh, that is for something else. You might have gotten
that was something else. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
That is for the Amulet of the Holy. That's where that is located.
Oh, okay.
Is some drowned village or something like that.
That's the Amulet of the Holy. Okay.
Right. The Tome of Knowledge, for those who may or may not remember, had something to do with a disfigured elf of some kind.
Oh yes, a wounded elf is someone you must seek. He will part with the treasure to see his dark dreams fulfilled. The ancient item is written in the hand of the Dark Lord himself. That one?
That one, yeah.
That does not sound familiar whatsoever.
It was a very long, like we had quite a long session of like reading tarot cards. There was a lot. There was a lot
in all those cards. I tried to take as many notes as I could, but it was hard to keep up with all of it. So
yeah. I wanted to sum it up because I knew that there's no way anybody would remember it all. So
yeah,
which is why I'm doing this.
The Sword of Power in a cask of no longer created wine.
Yes, so that's the other one, which is a weapon of power.
And then the holy symbol, which is in an abandoned village that is stricken into a swamp in the west.
That's right. And then, of course, the whole primary thing is what to do about the Dark Lord of Barovia, which is Strahd von Zadovich himself.
Right. So, right now, our focus is on Child because it's got the quickest timeline. So.
That's right. Just for those who may or may not remember, there are incomplete or failed. I haven't told you whether these are failed or not, but I've kind of put them in that sort of area. Mad Mary had a daughter that went missing. That's still technically incomplete or failed. One or the other. You've had Ravens of Barovia. Not only are there a lot of ravens, there's one in particular that seems to follow you guys, or you see them quite a bit.
I still haven't figured that out.
So
yeah, we haven't figured that one out.
What's that about is interesting. And there was something about the scarred ladies of the vine, which we didn't
push too much on that.
Yeah, they had scars on their eyes and everything like that. So what they're all about, that kind of thing, we don't know.
Well, if we ever go back to the village, we'll be sure to ask if they're still alive or there.
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to, and then you guys can look at your individuals if you wanted that. But I wanted to just quickly go over there and say, this is your quest line. What I would like help with is keeping track of if you have any new quests that you think of. I'll add them eventually, but yeah.
Okay.
Take a note or something like that and say, this might be a quest line, and if you're right, then I'll add it in then. So.
No, the only thing that I can think of is the Coven of Hags. The remaining two.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And the grandmother.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So, I'm concerned. about
Granny.
Granny.
Yeah, Granny.
Yeah, she could fit into the campaign. Absolutely.
I think.
Hi, Mom.
Yep.
I am playing.
But yeah, okay.
The Hags and the missing elf.
Phoebe says hi, by the way.
Who does?
Hi.
Phoebe.
Hi, Phoebe.
After I just said hi, mom, in the background.
Oh, is that who it was?
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of missed that. Sorry, I was. Just
It's all
looking through
good.
some stuff.
Yeah, the deaf guy heard it.
All right. So, so Jackson Grimbald, and Ireena, technically, you guys are
She's forgettable.
sort of welcomed in to
Jax.
the gates.
Yep.
Very forgettable.
That's so rude.
Speaking of which, my presumption is that you're trying to hide your general demeanor. Is that correct, Jax?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Go ahead and give me a. I guess
that's
it would be a
generally
deception
how I
roll.
live my life. Is me walking around with like my my
you're-
hood up, just like
Yeah.
you know.
Look at me.
So far, you haven't really gotten within maybe 10 feet of these people, kind of thing. They're, they have big pikes and they're kind of standing on guard. In fact, I'll show you what you guys are kind of looking at here.
Shanna fell out of her chair again.
No, I just dropped my dice and almost like dropped it on the floor, but we'll count that as my roll, I guess. So.
There you go. So here we have Lucian, Freak, and Myrtle, as well as the guard, the kind of sour-faced, kind of grumbly guard that sort of is annoyed that you know the people that were here earlier, and yeah, he was
Sounds like me.
but yeah, so he's grumpy anyway. But yeah, once you get within about 10 feet, then your nature is a little harder to hide.
Mm-hmm.
So give me a deception roll, please.
Yeah, well, we're just gonna say thank God I have a +5 on deception, because I now have 17.
17.
So yeah.
Dang, nice.
All right.
Thank God for that +5. Am I right?
Am I right or
You're
am I
welcome, my child. You're welcome.
right? Okay. So the guy seems like he's kind of fed up at this point, and lets you through and everything like that. But the woman seems to really catch on. There's something odd about you, Shanna. The whole halfling thing is weird enough, and that's what kind of keeps her scrutiny on top of things. And she's been relatively nice, mostly neutral for the most part, in the way that she's behaved towards you. But she sees something within the confines of your robes that really sort of alarms her. And she snaps out an arm and sort of lays it on your shoulder and says, "Be sure to reveal any weapons and register all equipment with the next guard inside. We allow all manners of citizens to the right to bear arms, but it is limited to self-defense against Strahd. Oh, sorry, she wouldn't have said it. Against he who shall not be named."
Yeah, don't name him. Come on.
And so she kind of really looks closely at you and sees the difference in your eyes, and she's very kind of weirded out by you, and her demeanor goes. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is there any kind of insight that I can roll as to like her personhood to see if I could reveal anything to her before I continue, or?
You can roll insight to see what she might be thinking about you.
Okay.
But yeah, you could maybe do a perception if you're looking for anything more particular, like. Yeah, I guess what exactly are you trying to figure out about her?
The way she's approaching me right now, because she's the one who's been very like forthcoming with us.
Yeah, she's been helpful and seems kind enough.
Right. So the way she's saying this to me right now, and all the rules that were presented to us earlier, is what's concerning me.
Right.
So I want to make sure that I'm not putting anybody else in danger by going in there. Essentially.
Right.
So I want to see if I could maybe pull her aside and talk to her privately. But I want to suss her out before I do that.
Sure. So go ahead and do an insight.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, go ahead and do an insight first.
Okay. Oh, well, that's shit.
How insightful of you.
Yeah, they're like she's. I'll say this: what you notice about her is she has her pike. She looks like she's guarding things. She's already stopped you, and she's already suspicious. At the very least, that seems like the most overt information I can give you. Beyond that, you don't know any internal motivations, or how suspicious she might be, or if she's hostile or anything like that. But yeah, it's kind of at this point it's kind of a crapshoot based on your
yeah.
role.
Did the other guards hear what she said to me?
Yeah, he seems to be like kind of noticing her, and
okay.
But there's a third guard inside the in the actual gates there that's got a little booth basically that's kind of tied into or built into the wall essentially, and he's sort of waiting for you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask her. They won't take the weapons, right?
No. If they're all reasonable and legal, then you'll just have to. They'll ask you to they'll basically get a complete description of them, who you are, your name. You basically have to register as a visitor and everything like that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
My whole body is a weapon. Cool. Got it.
That's cool.
Yep.
Got it. Love that for me.
Yeah.
Not that she knows that.
That's right. Yeah.
Love that for me.
We'll find out.
So So what do you guys do? I think Grim, you're on board too, right? You're there as well.
Yeah. I'll just show my weapons. Make sure that they take everything they want.
All right. So you guys go in basically to around here.
Your psychic ones are a little easier to hide than Jax's fire.
Which ones? These ones?
Those
Kids will
regular
go in.
daggers?
There ain't nothing up my sleeves.
I can't see her.
Here, I'm gonna just assuming Grim's. It might take a few seconds for it to recalculate because I've got a lot of stuff going on in this. Yeah, in this thing. So.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
Fancy.
oh,
Yeah.
Might be able to show it on the Discord as well.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on in this place. So.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. So.
I say we go to the stockyards. That'll be fun.
All right. So, so basically, right along this tower here is this guard. And yeah, he starts basically doing a very thorough write-up on each of you. He'll start with Grimbald because he seems to be like the first one to step up. Mistakenly, or at first sort of writes down child and counting the children that are coming in. It's like, okay, so there's 4 orphans. Okay, yeah, we know those. There's a 4th one. I don't know this one. He starts. You're not an orphan. What are you? What are you? Sort of thing. He's like, oh, okay. And so I mean, he's kind of mumbling to himself. I was like, okay, short. I don't know. What are you, like 3 foot something? What, 2 foot something? It's weird. Brown hair, brown eyes. Okay, devilish look to face. Armored with small, child's-sized leather armor. Okay, weird. So he'll kind of go along that. Sees your crossbow. Sees your. Or do you have a crossbow? I can't remember exactly what you have.
Yeah, I have a crossbow.
Yeah, so sees your crossbow, notes it down. He even describes like the actual like general color of it and everything like that. Different size. He'll ask you to kind of lift your cloak or lift whatever arm you have to see if you have any extra daggers or anything like that. Counts out all the daggers. Pretty much gives a full description of who you are.
Don't forget my extra finger.
Don't forget your finger elbow. Yeah. I have surreptitiously hidden this because AI is weird and likes to add things where they don't belong. So anyway, so finally it takes about a good 3 or 4 minutes of him writing and humming and hawing and mumbling to himself, and then he says, okay, next. And basically, we'll take whoever comes next, either Ireena or Jax.
All right, so I guess Jax will step up.
All right.
And firstly, show the crossbow, show the daggers, stuff. Please don't be alarmed. And Jax is gonna take off her hood and just hold out her hands, and then produce flame. To show.
Well, you're pretty much covered in flames already. Like I know.
Just give a little extra so that way he knows. Fair enough. Way he's aware.
Fair enough.
You know.
Yeah. So he like his eyes kind of like, Lieutenant. And basically a general call seems to be bring out kind of come across the thing, and it doesn't take too long. Takes about 90 seconds, but you start hearing lots of footsteps coming, at least half a dozen people.
What'd you do now, Jax?
How many lieutenants do you have?
I'm being honest.
That's good. No, it's good. Eventually you see a good cadre of about 6 soldiers coming from this direction. Give me a second. And coming behind him is a rather harsh-looking man.
Ooh.
Ireena probably would have been like over here, kind of just noticing things. Basically, as soon as the lieutenant has been called, these two sort of surround you. Clavdia, anyway. These two guards basically are like, they're already on top of you. The guards that are in the guard towers have turned around, arrows already knocked down at you, and they are freaked out. The children seem to like kind of scream a little bit and kind of rush out of the way.
The children have been with us the whole time. They know.
And eventually a gentleman comes down. He looks, based on his go ahead and give me a perception check, both of you.
Perception
16.
Okay.
21.
Damn. Okay. Jackson, Grimbald, both of you note that this is likely not a lieutenant. You think that this is probably like the captain of the guard, so he's probably the highest ranked. Whether they were just calling lieutenant as like a general call for like a superior to come and see, captain of the guard, clearly. He's extremely well dressed. His armor looks to be like studded leather armor that's very, very finely made, like superiorly made. He's carrying a massive battle axe, and he has a large sort of black cloak that covers the whole left side or right side of his body, and so the cowl of his entire cloak is a massive wolf. This guy is about 7 feet tall, and the head of the wolf is sort of on his left shoulder, and he sort of marches. He looks very dour, very intimidating just by his natural stature, but his face is sort of set in a serious stone sort of think Easter Island look kind of thing.
Right.
And he's sort of at the back of these 6 people who eventually, noticing these sort of purple and sort of ghostly flames constantly on fire, sort of surround you all about in a semicircle, whereas the other 2 kind of prevent your immediate escape. And he gets
I'm just kind of standing there with like my hands up, like I'm not trying to fight. I'm not here to hurt anybody. Like,
that's fair. Ireena sort of stepped like kind of off to the side, and he says in sort of a, you can almost, he could probably be seen as like a, I think almost Chronicles of Riddick, you know, sort of character. The way he talks, but it's very deep, it's very gravelly, and it's very severe. He doesn't look particularly foolish by any means, stupid or anything like that. And he simply asks one question: "What's going on here?"
What?
We were told to register our weapons.
I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
You.
Sorry.
And he'll motion to the nearest guard, which is this one that was sort of writing things down. Yes, sir. Mr. Strahd, sir, or Captain Strahd. These people entered the gates seeking to apparently bring these children home, but this woman seems to be cursed by the devil, I think. She has flames, and we can't possibly let her in. And he takes that and sort of steps closer, kind of towering over you guys, and looking at your flames, and simply says, "What are you?"
I'm just a sorceress who had an accident.
An accident?
I'm not cursed by the devil. As I glare at the guard.
She can't be trusted, he said. The guard sort of says under his breath, and he kind of shoots him like a glare, and he instantly like stands to attention and shuts up. And he's like, "You look like a devil yourself, whilst the rest of you," and he kind of pans to see the rest of who's there. He's been focused on you this whole time. He doesn't even really kind of think twice about Grimbald, thinking he's one of the children initially. When he spots Ireena, and his entire demeanor changes. Grimbald, I'm going to drag you into a private channel here.
Ooh.
Okay.
For a second,
I'm in
because
trouble.
I have something special for you.
Grim's in trouble. I'm just kidding.
I'll be right back, guys.
Going to the principal's office.
Oh, nothing. That's good. Okay, because you got a 21, you've noticed one major thing. The large, long black cloak that this guy is wearing is covering up what you can only describe as a monstrous arm. So it's probably about 3 times as large as a regular arm. It seems to be kind of like a reddish, leathery look, and has very sharp claws. It's clearly usually hidden under this cloak. You suspect that everybody else knows about this, and everybody is terrified. Every time that anybody looks at this guy, citizen or guard, he's clearly like very concerning. But you could almost consider this guy monstrous in his own right. So, but yeah. All right.
Okay.
Ian said his computer froze just at this particular moment. So.
Oh, that's why he got quiet.
Yeah.
I thought he just didn't like Lunar and my jokes.
Oh, what'd you say?
We were saying that Grimbald's passive perception noticed that this guy got a huge boner since he's at head level.
How did you know?
It's funny
like,
you
that
say
was supposed
that.
to be a secret.
I'm not going to say anything else anyway.
What?
That's perfect.
Wow.
Yeah, it's irony.
Well, yeah.
Clearly,
Jack,
Evanesco
you
has secret
yeah.
audio channels.
Yeah, they knew. Jax, well, now you know what you got to do.
Excuse me?
Hmm?
Me? What?
Yeah, we gotta take Isengard.
Why does Jax have to take the hobbits to Isengard?
Not,
What did I miss?
no.
Computer froze.
We're just talking about the necessity of Jax to take care of it.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So he's sort of berating, he's kind of looking across, and he basically is implying that you're some kind of demon or monster or something like that, when he suddenly catches Ireena's countenance just nearby. And everything about this guy that was the harshest, most evil, most horrifying kind of like thing that a human being could be, in terms of like a tyrant or something like that, there is no longer a scowl. He is just purely shocked, and his mouth is agape for a moment, which you're not sure if this guy even knows how to smile or open his mouth other than to talk. And he's just stunned. He's absolutely stunned by what he sees.
What was his name again?
This guy?
Captain...
Strahd. Do you guys do anything? Say anything?
I mean, I'm wondering if Ireena's gonna say or do something, considering he's looking at her. I'm just kind of looking between the two of them.
Yeah, Ireena just like is looking around, wondering why this guy is kind of staring at her all of a sudden, the way he's staring at her.
Okay. Do you guys know each other?
Ireena sort of shakes her head and says, "Do we?" The man sort of takes a step back as if he's been sort of slapped. And he looks like kind of at a loss, like truly stunned, and can't seem to take his eyes off her. Then finally, this guard, Cobal, grasps onto Jax and kind of realizes that his hands are in flame, and sort of takes his pike and is like, "It's like, we should take them to the stockade." And at that, this giant of a man takes his battle axe.
We've broken no laws.
He takes his battle axe and slices straight down, cutting the man's pike in half. And this guy hasn't seemed angry or anything like that, but it seems like a complete strange outburst of emotion, where he says, "You will do no such thing to hurt them." And the guy drops both halves and puts his arms up and pretty much retreats. Like, he basically goes outside of the gates trying to get away from the guy. And he basically turns to you and says, "I presume you'll hurt nobody as you spend your time here."
We are not here to hurt anybody. We're just here to deliver the children.
We're here to deliver these children and hopefully save some others if needed, but we're not here to harm anybody. We were just registering our weapons as we were asked to.
He, again, is sort of like only half listening to what you're saying and has kind of gone back to looking at Ireena. And finally, he realizes that people are staring at him, all the guards, and he says, "Let them pass. Register them. Let them get the children home." And he just sort of turns on his heel very suddenly and back to his stone face, starts walking and marching. The other guards that are behind him are all like, "Yeah, okay, we'll go after him, I guess." And you're sort of left to...
Jax, did you see his arm under his cloak? That was weird.
What do you mean?
You didn't see it?
No, but let's get out of the guard's way and we can talk about it. Hold on.
All right.
Ireena, maybe register your weapons.
Yeah, Ireena is sort of stunned by what just happened herself and is extremely confused, but she agrees she'll, give all the details necessary and explain who she is to, which kind of gives her a bit more, she's treated a little better all of a sudden, because she's kind of nobility, from Barovia. So as much as they don't have all that much relations, it's it's still common custom to treat visitors of that station with particular respect. So he you think that might come in handy at some point. All right.
All right.
So we'll leave you. I'll just leave you guys there, and I'll go over to Zoltan and
Zoltan.
Lunaris.
Zoltan.
All right.
We were inside the tent, weren't we?
Yeah, I'll just. I just wanted to kind of start back here, just so we can. All right. So, you guys got here a little while ago. It's about 10 in the morning, thereabouts, and you, as you kind of come up the pathway to this area, you notice quite a few Vistani. You've had a conversation already with a few of the local Vistani, one of which is curious as to what your arrival and your questions about a missing child might lead to. It looks like this camp is actually quite large, but there's only a few people, some women and children, kind of doing daily chores. They look at you sort of curiously. Lunaris, as usual, stands out for their sort of natural radiance, being an Aasimar and everything like that. And yeah, you guys, as you guys were kind of coming up, you also saw some folks in the distance. Let me see if I can't. I'm going to move you for a second, Ireena. Yeah, these fellows. When you saw them, you noticed that they had gray cloaks, sort of pale beige skin, but they kind of held themselves differently, and they obviously had these hovels or something similar. These sort of houses that were on the outskirts of this area. They were certainly strange looking. Oh yeah, I don't know why it's.
Yeah, one of them's showing on this left side, but not this right side.
I don't know why that one's not. Yeah. So anyway, they look kind of like that in any case.
Got it.
So, very nice, nice sort of wooden structures, which is different than the tents and everything like that. But you all about this this encampment is a lot more permanent looking settlement, and has about 12, 13 different caravans and tents that are around there, all of which could probably house about 40 or 50 people, you figure, with the larger structure in the center as well. But anyway, as you guys enter or kind of step up to the tent, you guys have heard what can only be described as flesh being hit again and again violently. And as you walk in, you see a large man who is got the collar of another sort of wrapped up in his fists. And he is sort of mercilessly pummeling this guy who's kind of on his knees. He doesn't look like he's protecting himself or anything like that. Yeah. Finally, another man who's sort of sitting behind or standing behind him says, "Come, brother. I believe Alexei has learned his lesson." And then, as he's saying this, kind of with a smirk on his face, kind of a sort of sickening grin, as if he's kind of enjoying the show, he sees you, Zoltan, and he says, "Zoltan, cousin!" Exclaiming, "You've made it home after all. Welcome."
I'll say this under my breath to Lunaris. Oh, great, these two again. In an attempt so that they don't hear me. I'll say, "Ah, yes, cousin. What a pleasure, of course."
Also, I can't see your videos, Al, when you came back.
Oh, my apologies.
Sorry. I guess I sort of whisper back, and do you know these? They're your cousin, your family?
Apparently they're my cousins. Apparently I'm related to... This is still under my breath here.
Sure.
My family, because I am distantly related to... what's her name? Madame Eva.
Right.
And these two were the ones who kidnapped me and brought me to this accursed place.
Oh, wow.
So, as much due to his brother's chastisement, as was his like exclamation when you first entered, the brutish man releases this Alexei guy to fall to the ground in an obvious blissful state of unconsciousness. And yeah, he'll come in. I'll actually show you guys this, what they kind of look like a bit better. So these are the brothers that you know and love.
Devilishly handsome.
Yes, that's right. And
especially the one on the right.
Yeah, I was going to say, and not so devilishly handsome, or brutishly handsome. But yeah, the big guy kind of looks at you, Zoltan, with a particular look that you're not too sure when you first see it, what he makes of it. But then he kind of bends down a little bit, because he is a very large guy. He's about 6'3". And he says, "We don't have time for visitors, Aragol."
You all know well that I'm no visitor. Though I may not be from here, I am a Vistani just like the rest of you.
The Lunaris chirps up, I guess, just to say, well, if you don't have time for visitors, are you spending that valuable time looking for missing Vistani children?
The man instantly sort of reacts to you and snatches out and grabs your armor and shoves you into his face. He's like, "What do you know of her? Where is she?"
I was hoping that you could give us some information, because we are looking for such a child as well, as per Madame Eva's instructions. Just calmly. Just
Yeah, he looks like he's like ready to like beat the crap out of you, just like he did Alexei, but your words at least stop him temporarily. Aragel is the one who seems to have feigned horror, and he says, "Fates would never allow us to not have to not show hospitality, Luvash. They are guests after all, and family. Therefore, they must be welcomed to share our fire and our wine." And he sort of tries to gingerly pry his hand off of Lunaris at this point. And so, after all, Madame Eva herself has vouchsafed for this one. And Luvash, is sort of like really like it's trying to pry a gorilla off you, off of something he really wants, and finally he kind of lets go and he kicks off. Yeah.
Sounds good. Many thanks, Aragel. We definitely do not mean any harm. We come to help.
Excellent. Now, I understand you said you are also looking for a young Vistani. Could you be more specific as to what you are looking for and why? As you can see, my brother is less patient than I, and...
Unfortunately, we do not know whom it is we're looking for, but Madame Eva told us there was a missing Vistani child near the border of a lake. That is all the information we know.
This was told to us during a Taroka reading. Deep one.
Luvash kind of whips his head around after kind of pacing as he's listening to you, and he goes to Aragel. He's like, "The lake. So she is there." It's like, "What else do you know? I must know." And again, Aragel is kind of pushing him back. He's like, "Calm, brother, calm." It's like, "You see, the missing child in question is my niece, Luvash's daughter, Arabelle."
I could tell how important she is, just the way that you appear. I understand. So the only thing that we do know is that during the Taroka reading that we had 3 days time before he is lost, and it's already been 48 hours. We have but 24 hours remaining.
Luvash looks like he wants to hit something really hard still. And Aragal says, well, we have men out. Now we know where to search. We've begun our canvass with as many citizens, as many Vistani as possible. The people of Vallaki are less than amiable with our kind, and so...
Yes, we found that out the hard way. They wouldn't even let us in the borders of their city once we said we were looking for a Vistani child.
Yes.
Have no fear, though. We are all outcasts in kin. You have 5 more able-bodied individuals to assist with your search.
So you said that it was Madame Eva who told you of this prophesied event, that the girl would be harmed.
I don't remember if she had actually said that she would be harmed or not. Do you remember, Zoltan?
I remember that we had that 72-hour time frame, and something awful would happen at the end.
Yes, well, as powerful as Madame Eva is, she's vague at times. Still, you mentioned the lake. This might be what we need. We don't have enough people, it is a large lake, to go throughout the whole area, but with all of us patrolling the lake's edge, perhaps we can catch this attacker, whoever he may be, unawares. You said it's within 24 hours.
Yes.
Do you know the hour in particular?
No. Or Lunaris, do you remember?
I don't remember the exact time, but it was... We met with Madame Eva at night. Because we were partying. Or at least the rest of the Vistani camp was partying.
Vistani, we like to show our enjoyment of life, so it is not a crime.
I will say, do they have a sense of midnight, more or less? Maybe like before the day's end.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that.
Or I don't know if it's like sunset of the next day is what I'm thinking, or I mean, I'm not quite sure.
Luvash kind of frustratingly says, Madame Eva, she is, as you say, powerful, but rarely does she know the precise time and hour. Things change, even though the events might be precise. The coming of that event could change depending on the circumstances.
The future is yet to be set in stone.
More or less, although fate will be as it is called, nevertheless. If you said that there is a lake, then she will likely be found at the lake. And so he basically kind of... So what you've noticed as well, and I'll do it this way. What you've also noticed on the ground are clearly other people have been also either beat up or have had a really good party the night before. And so there are several men kind of in various positions who look to be harmed or otherwise, or just drunk. And he finally rushes over to this gentleman and tries to slap him awake. He looks like he's more drunk than anything. And Melanov! And he sort of slaps him a few times and is like, get up, wake up, we need you. My daughter is in danger. The guy is still, like, clearly so inebriated that he hasn't slept anything off, but after a moment or two, he sort of comes to, and Luvash essentially orders him to go out and find any Vistani that are in the forests around the area, and to redirect their efforts to go to Lake Zarovich to the north. Aragal will sort of say, what is your interest in this child in any case? It's not just out of the kindness of your tender hearts, is it?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Absolutely.
That's the only reason.
I am a Paladin of Helm, sworn to oath by the Evening Glory. We are here to save this land and lift the curse.
And I just want to do right by whomever I meet.
I see. Well, be careful who you say that to. Strahd, sorry. Oh, good thing we're not in Vallaki. The Dark Lord, at times, does not take so kindly to those with such beliefs.
Unfortunately, we are well aware of that already.
Very well. Still, to each their own. What I'll say this is, everyone here in this camp adores Arabelle, and it is imperative that we find her. She is a very special little girl. And so, if you are to help, the best help that you could do would be to see if anybody in Vallaki might know of her whereabouts. Kindly people or unkindly people. We are never allowed to be granted entrance, but I'm sure you, not being Vistani, at least not that they know, might gain access and can look around there. We will focus our efforts on the lake, since you have been so kind and generous. But first, please, be sure to rest. I'm sure you've traveled long and far. And so he'll show you a cask of wine that you guys can have, and some cheese and some meat so you can get replenished and everything like that. And, but eventually he'll excuse himself and say that Luvash and himself will also head out towards the lake, or basically tell everybody else to head towards the lake as they're scattered.
We won't be here long. We have to meet up with our other cohorts to fill them in on what's going on.
Although we will take your kind offer of filling our stomachs before we leave. We do not want to go into this venture ill-prepared. So thank you, Luvash, Aragal, everyone else.
And, of course, in the near future, when you wish to discuss things of the past and that sort of things, of course we will be more than willing to have a discussion. But yeah. All right.
Leave it at that.
Is there anything else you guys want to say or do at this point? I'm just curious.
I think I'm pretty happy here. I don't know about you, Lunaris.
I'm pretty sure we'll probably be missing something. One sec. But yeah, I have a feeling we're probably missing something. But I don't know what else to do at the moment except to reconvene with friends.
Yeah, it seems like there's something else to do here, but it felt cut and dry at the same time.
I will say that the map that I've basically got you guys on, I'll show you. So this map is like this big. So, and it is the primary area that you guys will be in for the bulk of this campaign now.
Okay. So we're going to be coming back here.
You'll be coming back to these areas multiple times, so don't feel like you pressure to like Baldur's Gate 3, go through every possible, thing now.
To every single person.
Yeah. So yeah, so by missing something, you have a relative linear progression of how things could unfold. You don't need to get everything now. So just
I guess I could probably ask What was Alexei doing that deserved him such a beating?
Yeah, so Luvash basically spits on the ground and walks out, and Aragal says, Alexei was supposed to be taking care of Arabelle when she went missing. So,
Okay, very well.
Fair enough.
but he is Vistani.
Interrogation methods.
He'll live. We don't hurt our own.
Much.
Much. Yes. And he shrugs, and he'll go after his brother at that point. So. All right. Back to the...
Did you get my message there, Michael?
I did not. Okay, so let's get back to Grimbald and Jax and Ireena and the children.
Okay.
Okay, since you said that, I will be right back just to help Madison with lunch.
Yep.
Okay.
No worries.
How long will you be with these guys? I don't want to take too long here.
Maybe 15.
Okay, sounds
and then
good.
we might take a quick break. I'm going to grab a coffee after that anyway. So.
Okay, cool. We just have to get Phoebe lunch before she has her nap.
You're greedy.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your letting me be a parent at the same time.
Of course.
Stupid parents. Tricks are for kids.
Yep. Cool. See you soon.
No worries. So yeah, Captain Strahd and 6 guards have just kind of left at this point, and the other guards look kind of, dumbfounded and kind of go back to their posts. The first 2 out in the front, they're sort of whispering, and they're actually kind of angry. At first they're confused, and then they're like, "Go ahead and give me a perception check, right quick." Actually.
Okay.
Perception.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I perceived that.
I did not give you my code, did I?
No, you didn't. It's the back and forth weather is messing with me.
I think that's what mine is too, but...
Been a weird winter.
20!
Oh my god.
Damn, Grimbald.
Grandma's kicking.
I got an 18.
Okay, yeah, so both of you...
My eyes are seeing things.
It's not too hard to overhear the conversation, but basically what you gather is that is the first time that they've ever seen an actual emotional response from Captain Strahd.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the guy is usually cold, calculated, harsh, yes, detached, yes, but never has he been stunned or at a loss of what to do or what to say or anything like that. So this, whatever just happened, seems to be very, very out of character for him. But yeah, that's kind of what you hear them kind of
mumbling,
either mumbling or bitching about, or it's like, what the fuck was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Before we head off anywhere, I want to just go over to the original woman guard who kind of gave me a warning. And just kind of quietly tell her thank you for being honest and giving us a little bit of a heads up about the weapons and everything. So
give me a... I'm assuming you're saying this in truth and in kindness.
Yes.
Not...
Yes.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion plus
charisma
15. 15.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, she doesn't at first really believe you. She is very cautious, but after a few moments, she seems to give you a genuine smile and a nod, and just be safe, citizen. And she looks like she's obviously under a measure of constraint.
Of course, she's working.
But at first she genuinely was like, she trying to pull the eyes over me, is like, is this an actual devil? Like, she really is warring with herself whether or not you're good or not. But yeah, in the end, she sort of just seems more neutral again. She's relatively receptive to you. So.
Okay, cool.
Good job.
All right, so kids, why don't you lead the way? And I want to kind of follow them, but then keep a little bit back to where they're just out of earshot so I can talk with Grim and Ireena as we're walking.
Sounds good.
So Grim, what were you talking about?
His arm.
What about his arm?
It was weird. It looked big. It had claws on it. You didn't see it?
No, I was a little bit distracted with, trying to make sure I wasn't gonna, die or something. But yeah.
I think there's something seriously wrong with him. We're gonna have to keep an eye out for him.
Okay. Ireena, what the hell? I think he knew you. I think he knew you.
I don't know how you could know me.
I mean, you know the other name that they were calling you before? I wonder if it has something to do with that.
What name would that be? Sorry?
What was the
Tatiana.
other? Tatiana. Thank you. Tatiana?
Oh. Maybe. I honestly, you know as much as I do about such things. That was the first time I've heard that name.
There was no glimmer of recognition for you. There was nothing. Are you sure?
She really kind of racks her brain for a moment. She sort of like walks and really thinks for a while, and she's really trying to figure out like what exactly is going on here, like. But yeah, she eventually says, the more I think about it, the less less answers come to mind. I've had dreams, as I've told you, and I've seen different places and different things, and that face has never come up, so I'm not too sure.
Okay.
So,
what are we seeing as we're walking through, by the way?
I was going to say, that's kind of what I was going to give you a bit of
guards upon guards.
I see guards, obviously, but what else is around here?
So, as you guys are talking, what you realize is it's extremely shocking what you're seeing here. And the reason why it's shocking is because every building or every place that you've seen throughout the entire time you've been in this realm of Barovia has been depressing. It has been worn down, busted up, or just maximally horrific. The people here are smiling. They'll all kind of give you a smile as you walk by and wave, and even though they're a little, they're like looking at you strangely, the fact that you got through the gates, they already seem to be at least mildly neutral towards you. The buildings that you see are in fairly good order. They're not like in a like Baldur's Gate or in Waterdeep or Daggerford or any of these cities or towns that you've been to before, where they're like, amazing construction or anything like that. So they're still rather humble in some sense, but they're multiple stories. They are the lawns and the yards are relatively well kept. The bushes are trimmed, sort of thing, on average. Not like they're not perfect or anything like that. And yeah, the people seem to be in somewhat better spirits. They have something close to hope. You're not quite sure. You haven't really talked to them, but this is your first initial impression. It is a normal town, and it is shocking to you.
Okay.
But yeah, so far what you've kind of gone by, you notice that this is actually a down over here, a walled, stone-walled sort of keep almost.
Okay.
And it looks like it's some kind of merchant area where a lot of goods and everything might be sold, high quality stuff. You notice a blacksmith that is kind of banging away on weaponry. It looks like he's got quite a bit of swords and pikes and everything, so this looks like maybe the primary area there that you would find some sort of weaponry and possibly armor. There doesn't look to be as much armor from where you're standing, but nevertheless, it's quite nice. So, and yeah, I'll continue from there. Sorry, just zoomed in like a madman. So yeah, the kids seem to be going kind of northwestish up the road. Down here, you do notice that there is a town square of some kind. Go ahead and give me a perception check, and I'll actually both of you give me insight and perception checks.
Okay. I got a 6 on insight.
Okay.
Oh my god. And a 2 on perception.
Awesome.
I love that for me.
Your
Okay,
dice
well,
is
I'm a little
rebelling.
distracted by something. I'm a little distracted, apparently.
Sorry, what was I supposed to roll?
Insight and perception.
Insight and perception. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something in my eye. I got some, piece of hair in my eye.
14
Sounds
okay.
right.
and nat 20. So 24.
Perfect.
I'm glad Grim's being perceptive right now, not me.
Yeah, it's about time.
So before you guys move on, or you're kind of at the back of the bus here, Grim, and you kind of look down here and you notice that this is likely a town square. And the thing that really notices that sort of at least throws you off at some point is that these are the stocks. So right in the middle of town square, there are actually things that you would have your head put in and you'd be shackled to. And there looks to be at least 2 people currently in the stocks with, you're not quite sure, but something like an animal, put on top of their head. You can't quite see from this distance, but that does seem to be a pretty strange thing to see from this angle. But yeah, just something of note. All right, as you continue on with the kids, you pass a tailor, which has sort of an actual sort of spool of thread on its sign out at the front, and this looks to be what seems to be an actual tavern of some kind, like an actual ale house of some sort.
Later, Grim.
Yeah. You two later to go to that tailor.
Yeah, that's right.
I love how they're like side by side.
Yeah, later.
This orphanage is literally on the other side of the town.
We're not here to go shopping.
I don't like shopping.
The nicest building that you've seen so far is across from what looks to be like a general store, based on what you can tell, selling different ropes and everything like that, and building or construction tools and all that kind of thing. But right outside of a very nice sort of 2-story building, with sort of beautiful vines and very, very fine stonework for the bottom of the home, is something that declares itself to be the Blue Water Inn. And it seems to be pretty close to the center of town that you can see. It's kind of the largest building, one of the larger buildings that you've seen so far. And might be a place that you would consider accommodations if you were so inclined.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to grab some medicine quickly.
Yep, it's all good.
You're okay.
So we have a black water tavern, a blue water inn. Does there happen to be a red water butcher or anything like that?
Oh, a bookshop.
Yes.
An
No.
apothecary.
Later.
As you're passing by, you see a very charming, very kind of flourished 2-story building, very thin up at the top, that declares itself to be a bookshop. It looks to be having quite a bit of activity right now. Go ahead and give me one more perception check.
See, the bookshop and the apothecary are more Jax's vibe.
That's right.
There you go.
You said perception?
Yes, please.
20.
Okay. And great.
23.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, both of you note that as you're kind of realizing what's happening, everybody in town actually seems to be doing work right now. They don't seem to be too idle, and the thing that they're doing is there's these posters all over the place that they seem to be, gathering and bringing back to this bookshop. It seems, and they are. Yeah, it seems to be like a sort of a civic duty thing that's going on. You're not quite sure exactly what's going on, but you notice that there is a sign or a poster or something like that that hasn't been taken down quite yet, and it reads Festival of the Sunny Night. And it seems like this was the past week's festival that's they're kind of cleaning up apparently the old posters that have been posted up about what the week's current festival is going to be. And yeah, apparently, yeah, it was Festival of the Sunny Night. That was the last experience. And it, in detail, it essentially says, join everybody for a camp out under the stars, of course, which actually shows torches that everybody has to bring to make stars and make it a sunny night. And you,
Oh, cute.
and it basically underneath, sort of in fine script, is like, no person shall be found indoors for that particular night. Everybody sleeps outside, and we make this place a bright and sunny night to combat the oppression of the mists and the darkness.
That's so cute.
Jax, we got to come back on one of these nights.
So they're gathering the posters and taking them to the bookshop?
Yeah, so it looks like they're taking them down and they're returning them to the bookshop. So.
Okay. Hey, Grim, why don't you stay with Ireena? I'm going to take this poster to the bookshop. I'll catch up in a sec.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm going to just grab that poster and run to the bookshop.
All right.
To return it.
This is why I prepare as much as I do.
Following everybody's lead.
Yeah, sounds good. So
Jax
they'll
puts
kind of
us in trouble.
they'll continue on in any case. So yeah, you walk into the bookshop that declares itself with a small sign above saying it's Yanovich and Sons. There is an elderly man and three adult, about 20 or 30-year-old in about there, males who are collecting and sort of basically they're shredding and they're reclaiming all of these posters. So the three men are doing that. The older gentleman who's at the front of the store, he's kind of working on a wooden plate, sort of carving. And what you realize is the primary or the bottom floor of this this bookshop, is actually a printing press, a very old version of a printing press, where he carves wooden plates and then allows them so that posters can be made in mass for the whole entire town.
Cool.
And so he's currently working on the newest poster that ought to be up tomorrow. So, and
Cool.
yeah, if you bring up the sign to him, he's like, "Oh, excellent. Yonvi will take that from you. I've never seen you here before. How do you do? Welcome to Yanovich and Sons."
Hi, I'm Jax. We're just helping orphans find their way. And I saw people bringing these in here, and I just thought I would help.
Oh, excellent. So I assume you're new in town. I haven't seen you before. Welcome to our humble bookshop. Obviously, we do more than just sell books. We primarily just work for the burgomaster and work as a printing shop. So that's our main thing. But we do have some books if you are interested. And he
I
kind
love
of
books.
he looks upstairs, and there's sort of a spiral staircase that kind of climbs up, and there's a little balcony that goes around the upper half of the building, and there are sort of row upon row of shelves that are filled with books. So, yeah.
Oh. Jax is obviously very excited looking around here because she loves the books, considering where she grew up. But is there anything that necessarily like stands out to her or seems out of place or anything?
Let me think here. So it looks like primarily local lore and history. There are, it's primarily about the construction of. So there's different topics. Some of them are like the construction of Vallaki. There's some sort of. There's actually quite a bit of material on the burgomasters of the past of the Vallaki family, which apparently has been in power for at least 2 or 3 generations.
Okay.
And it seems like they openly promote this material. You kind of get the sense it might be propaganda at some level.
Right.
Yeah. There are a few children's books, like adventure stories and everything like that. That. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
19 again. I think that's what I rolled last time, isn't it?
Okay. So there's a couple of philosophical works. There's a few adventure tales for children. There's quite a bit of the same books. There's not a lot that are new, and they've kind of just been reprinted, it seems, over time. There's some poetry and literature, but the more you look at any of these things, I don't know how deeply you look, but your initial sense is that it's very positive, very uplifting. There doesn't seem to be any sign of dour or depressing or concerning or fearful or challenging views. So it does seem to be pretty tame, I guess you could say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There are.
It's all like kind of one-sided, basically.
Yeah, there are a lot of religious texts as well for the Morning Lord, and it's some of them are like hymns of the Morning Lord. Some of them are sort of religious treatises. But yeah, you'd actually have to read them to get too much out of it. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything negative in this store, from what you can tell.
Interesting.
Sure.
What was this guy's name again?
His name is Janovich and Sons.
Janovich.
So he'll eventually, if you're interested, he'll motion to his 3 sons and said, "That's Janvi, Sven, and Yenva."
Well, it is very nice to meet all of you. So you'll be putting information out about the new festival tomorrow?
Yes, Saint Andrew, the Feast of Saint Andrew will be coming up. So I'm working on it right now, and he kind of show you sort of his methodology of carving this, flat piece of wood that he's kind of sanded down, and is in the process of giving kind of reverse lettering and everything like that. It's obviously a very painstaking process, but yeah, he seems to be very good at it.
Well, my friends and I have some things that we need to do, but if we're around, I look forward to seeing what this festival is all about, and it's been very nice meeting all of you.
And you as well, of course. Appreciate your patronage in any case. Should you ever seek out more of the learned type.
I love books, so depending on how long we're here, you'll probably be seeing a lot of me.
Excellent.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna run out and do. I know they went this way, so I'm gonna come this way. Am I able to see kind of where they went?
Yeah. So the thing, okay. once you're down the street, what you notice in the distance is two large buildings. One's is very clearly a stone church that looks in reasonably good order, and then across from it, there's another stone building of very similar make that has like an extra tower, and that seems to be where Ireena and the children seem to be congregating out with a certain Grimbald, assuming Grimbald is going with them?
I don't know. He still seems to be back on the road. So.
Yeah, I was moving myself out and
You're
distracted.
You're good. You're good.
All right.
I'm sure I'm there.
So it's
I'm
getting
just
to be
gonna go
about
catch
10
up.
o'clock in the morning. You kind of your time at the gate maybe held you up a little bit, and you're kind of looking around. The other thing that you guys notice with your guys' roles is that clearly this is a very well guarded town. You have what seems to be at least pair patrols, so 2 guards to a patrol that are always on the move. They always seem to be walking up and down. They are sometimes organizing or helping out with whatever this festival stuff is going on. So right now it's like guiding, saying, oh, there are some, you hear one of them over say, oh, there's 3 signs, 3 posters over at the such and such as a house down the way. Don't forget those, yada, yada, yada. But it does seem like there's at least about a dozen guards on duty at all times patrolling, that you can kind of guesstimate based on the size of where you guys are going. So since you rolled so bloody high on your rolls. So. But yeah, okay. So Lucian is the first one to kind of get up there, and he suddenly seems unsure whether or not he wants to be here. He was kind of cocky and everything like that before, but as soon as he kind of walks up to the orphanage, which appears to be the orphanage, he almost looked like he has second thoughts and like waiting for everybody, and is happy to be waiting for Jax and not really rush right into to the building. But yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, I catch up.
Let's get you guys inside.
All right, I guess so.
What's wrong?
I don't know. I just don't really want to be around Miss Witch anymore.
Why? I thought everything was all right with her.
I mean, she's not a hag, I guess. I think.
But
I don't know. She can be mean. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
it does matter. You can talk to us.
I mean, she's always just making us do things, and being clean and nice, and we have to study and learn our languages and stuff. Right. We don't get to play, and she doesn't let us play most of the day.
You don't get to play at all?
Well, I mean,
Or you don't get to play enough?
he kind of kicks rocks a little bit, and he's like, I just want to play. I don't like the orphanage.
I understand. What do you want to do when you get older? Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
You want to be an adventurer like us?
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, because it's kind of like playing all the time when you're an adventurer. But you know what's really important when you're an adventurer too, though?
What?
Having lots of knowledge about stuff and knowing how to be clean when you're in someone else's space and understand people. But you can't do that if you don't learn, right?
I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of scrunches up his face and doesn't really like what he's hearing, but he's, all right, well, just say nice things about me, okay? She's always picking on me.
I will say the best things about you.
Okay. And he'll rush up to the door and start opening it. Let's pause there so I can use the washroom and pause my recording here for a bit as well. So
Okay.
And, fair enough. Okay, so welcome back.
Thank you.
So the Vistani encampment has given you some much potentially needed not only information, but more help than you probably thought you were going to get. So, where would you guys like to go? They've just asked you to see if they can't look into her location to Arabelle. You found her name was Arabelle. Whether or not she's in Vallaki. What are you guys going to do?
Well, what's his name? Argal said go to Vallaki and find some info. So I think that's what we should do.
My owlbear's not working.
No.
Oh, there it goes. It just finally loaded.
All right.
Okie doke. So, sorry, I was trying to get that working. What'd you say, Zoltan?
I said we might as well head to Vallaki
Sure.
because that's what what's his name said.
So,
Mhm.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say, would we have noticed the other gate coming in, or I guess we probably
Definitely.
should go back to the one that we came in at, since we know that Jax would have went to that one.
Sure.
I would imagine the other side of the town guards would know.
Possibly.
What do you think, Zoltan? Would you want to go the shorter route? Just to
Let's give it a shot and
Okay.
hopefully not deal with the same guards who did not want to let us in
All right, let's give it a go.
because we don't know that they vouched for us.
So off to the wizard.
You should know us well enough, though. On a hill.
So I will say two things.
Sure.
It is very likely that you would have seen the towers and the buildings and entrances here. The other thing that you will notice that as you're kind of coming this is there's actually another gate south, but it looks like it doesn't
there
have
is one.
guards outside of it. It looks like it's actually been boarded up. For whatever reason, this one doesn't seem to be accessible, so far as you can tell. But yeah.
Interesting. Well, we could always. So you said it was boarded up.
Yeah, it looks like it's been kind of decommissioned as an entrance.
Okay.
Are
that's
we
the
able
one
to
that
go
we
take a look
passed
over there,
by.
and I can use my carpentry skills to see if I can get in there without leaving too much evidence?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to roll on that or anything?
Yeah, let's give you... Sorry, I'm just trying to move around here for a second. I've got too much stuff on my desk. Okay. So what you notice is, as you're kind of going along, there is for sure a guard in every tower that you see along the wall. They are about 20... Oh, I want to do it this way. Yay, measuring stick. Whoop. 45 times... So about every 100 feet or so. Maybe a little less.
Okay.
There's a guard tower.
Those seem really close together. 100 feet is not that far.
Yeah, they're very close together. So basically they appear to be reasonably well structured. And it is meant so that they have ideally cover of every angle that they can along the wall. You do notice that they do have walkways if necessary. But yeah, they're flimsy and it take them time to do it.
Is there an out of order sign on the door?
No, it just looks like it's permanently closed up. It's got pikes or spikes, wooden spikes that are shoved in the ground and are actually pointed outward at this particular entrance. That's pretty. Yeah.
Why do I have a feeling that I had something to do with the Vistani camp?
Yeah, it's possible. You'd have to obviously ask or inquire why it might have been boarded up or fortified like it is. But yeah.
So yeah, is it possible for me to for us to kind of sneak in there?
I feel like we should probably go.
I would say even if you were sneaking, these guards
it's all
do
open, so they're gonna see no matter
it's
what.
all it's
Okay.
exactly. So you probably have about 30 or 40 feet to the tree line. So maybe a little closer here, you might be able to get kind of in close. But overall, like, unless it was an extremely misty day or it's nighttime, the likelihood is extremely low that you will catch them unawares. It's not impossible, so you could try if you wanted to.
You also have someone with a disadvantage on their stuff.
Yes,
Clink,
I'm aware
clink,
of that part.
clink, 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 clink.
Are you wanting us to head back to the main gate then, Lunaris?
Yeah, let's go to the other one that we were closer
Okay.
on the west end.
Sounds good.
Let's go see what's up over there.
I think it's the east end, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we came from the east. I figure we can go to the west one and have
I see. Okay, I see. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Alrighty.
Maybe we can
Alright,
inquire
let's
about
drag
some
my
stuff
buddy over
outside. If any people outside here would know anything about the Vistani camp, this little area might.
Yeah. Maybe we could talk to Ginny Greentooth.
Oh, that was supposed to be hidden. That's okay.
Well, we're in the area, so.
But you can talk to you can talk to whoever you want.
Yeah. Do you want us to roll a perception or something?
Sure. Sorry, are you just gonna? It doesn't look like there's anybody doing anything. There's some people working the farms here and in here. They're
Okay.
sort of,
Well, we would have come up to these guys first then.
Okay. Give me a second just to.
We're investigating a missing child.
All right.
I'll let you lead on the conversation here just because you might look somewhat less gruff and
not
frightening.
Vistani.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Actually, I don't know. I don't think I look too Vistani.
No? Or you have? I don't quite remember your past.
No, I mean, if you're looking for it, like, it's there, but yeah, it's not so easy to necessarily tell who's Vistani or
And
not.
I don't dress like one either.
You definitely seem foreign one way or the other. And so the dress of a Vistani is one thing, the complexion of a Vistani, which is kind of like, the
Darker.
like the gypsy kind of look, I guess, Esmeralda kind of look.
Got it.
But I mean, you're from the north, so you probably have a paler complexion than that on average.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's because everything about you guys is very clearly strange, and that's what actually makes the Vistani unliked in the first place. Is it's not just their demeanor and it's not just their party lively attitude, but they have life. Like, they are the life of the party all the time, and even in Vallaki,
Nobody else here does.
yeah, even in Vallaki, but especially in Barovia, just overall, I mean, they've been essentially trapped here. So they are a symbol of freedom that they don't have, kind of thing. And you guys being here, whether you're trapped or not, have come from a place that is clearly not drained of color and joy and hopelessness, or hope, rather.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So you see what looks to be a couple, sort of working together in this area. They have, they're pretty nondescript. They have farming clothes that are a little tattered. They look like they might be a little bit poorer than not. The one guy has a very large, wide-brimmed hat to keep the rain off of his body for the most part. And the lady has a sort of shawl that's around her. They're probably in their 30s, so thereabouts. What you would probably consider a little over middle age, but yeah, they look up to you, seeing this strange couple coming around, and are not sure what to make of you. So they don't say anything until you.
I speak up, and you're like, "Hail, we are investigating the missing presence of a child, a Vistani child, to be exact. Have you happened to have seen any of such a like roaming around here?"
A Vistani child. I mean, they're around from time to time, but I can't say that I've seen them recently. At least not in or around town. They are usually told to steer clear. So this is the man talking. Then the woman sort of pipes up and is like, "Well, I usually see the children at the orphanage sneaking in and out of the main gate, or at least, running off with them to the lake from time to time. I think I saw them recently. I can't tell you when, but..."
Have you yourself been to the lake by chance? Or know someone who does frequent?
There's some fishermen hereabouts. Usually most of them live within the town itself. Most of us that live outside of the town are farmsteaders, and we keep the crops to the best of our ability.
Well, we appreciate the information here. We are told that the missing child could be near this lake, so any information on where they could possibly have gone around that area would be more than helpful. If you could pass the information along to I don't know, actually, if the guards or Vistani, if I should tell them to talk to the Vistani or not. Like, I guess I asked, how is your relationship with the Vistani? You seem to be closest in this area to the camp.
The husband seems to say, we have nothing to do with folk like that, pretty curtly, and he kind of walks off, not trying to be too rude, but he's like pretending like he's going to go and do more work, and then he's kind of done with the conversation. The wife looks a little embarrassed and kind of has a strange smile, and sort of says, "Most folk steer clear of the Vistani around here. I know of them. I have nothing against them personally, but yeah, it's not always wise to bring it's not polite conversation to talk about the Vistani. We're Vallakians, and that's the way, and we take care of our own here."
Understandable. I apologize and did not mean any offense, but we appreciate any help. Feel free to provide any information to the guards. I'm sure we'll be in this area for some time, so we'll be around.
Very well. May you have a good day then.
Good day to you. Do we want to
overt racism, though? Come on, guys.
More classism. I guess no, there's just a class difference. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
It's bigotry of its own kind. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. Should we investigate any of these other houses regarding the whereabouts?
I think it's worth a shot. I think before you say Vistani, you should just say a missing child, though. So they don't need to know that it's a Vistani child, just a missing child.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will keep that in mind.
Just based on the interactions that we've seen with...
That's fair. They're less likely to help knowing.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks for the heads up.
You're
All right,
welcome.
so I guess we continue following the road, so the guards will probably see us while we're in this area. Should we introduce ourselves now, or do you think? All right. Well, is there anyone else outside or in this area?
There's 3 individuals in this field, but that's all you appear to see. It looks like these are sort of like a crop share kind of, crop shared families. But yeah, from what you can tell.
Well, they're in the direction of the lake, so I guess I'll go talk to them and kind of mention that we are in search of missing children. We've already returned and found some that belong to the orphanage. Do you happen to have seen any children go north to the lake, and whereabouts they may possibly be in that area?
We keep to ourselves. We don't care for children in general, other than our own, who have long since grown up and passed to their own families. They take care of them. They start to sort of grumble about their grandchildren and their children not visiting and stuff like that. So this looks like a relatively older couple, about 50 years old at least, they're sort of a little bit annoyed being bothered at this point. There's another working hand who looks like a soulless individual who just almost shrugs and shakes his head and stares off in oblivion before like getting back to his work. But yeah, you seem to be bothering them from what you can tell.
All right. Well, I do apologize. I won't take much more of your time. 1 second.
Yeah, you're fine.
I wanted to hand them 2 silver pieces, and if necessary, I can roll a persuasion check to say, well, it seems like your family may have been here for quite some time. Didn't you have a place that you used to hide when you were a child around here? Or anyone that you know of, your brothers and sisters?
Go ahead and roll a persuasion.
I'm excited to see what happens here.
12 plus 6 is 18.
Whoa.
That's pretty good.
My specialty.
The older gentleman, snatches the coins greedily, and sort of smirks, like, didn't think you the type. Well, I've seen children around here all the time. They go running and scurrying through my fields or through the woods to the north there. But as far as I can tell, they keep themselves out of trouble, do their own thing. I don't know. I stick to my farm. That's all I really know, to be honest. So, but as for my childhood, well, you don't want to know my childhood, okay? So scurry along.
Quite understood. To each our own. But I thank you for your time. Blessed be.
All be well. Go ahead and roll an insight check if you want.
Sure. He still seems kind of annoyed, but we'll see what my insight is. Absolutely nothing, because I got a 1.
Okay, fair enough. He seems extremely sincere in his well wishes to you. So,
right.
At this point, the guards at the gate have kind of noticed what you're doing, and they are looking on curiously and alert, waiting for you, assuming you're going to be coming this way.
All right. Well, that's where I head to next.
State your business.
Shall you join me, Zoltan?
Kind of brings down his pike,
Yes,
sort of
I will
across.
absolutely join you.
Yeah, so they cross their pikes and basically ask you to state your business. They look kind of dour, but not as instantly off-putting as the last guy.
Well, we came with a bandit as adventurers. We are assisting in returning children of the orphanage. Have you received word from the other gate that our companions have arrived?
No.
Is there a way that we can have you catch word so that we don't have to go all the way around to the other gate?
They kind of look at each other and look at each other. What are you doing here? You said you're here with children?
Yes, we are in search of children. We have returned the children known as Lucian, Myrtle, and Freck.
You don't know that you've returned them. You don't know that.
Oh, well, okay.
That you're intending to.
Right. So we don't know. So I'm bringing up their names though, but
Right.
yeah, we don't know that you're in town. We're more or less just asking if you've arrived.
Right. Yep, that's
I
fair.
was just making sure. Because you were saying you've
appreciate
returned.
it.
You don't know that. You don't know.
I got what he meant. I got. Lucian. So, go ahead and.
Can I do the help action here?
Sure.
And see if that'll give him advantage on whatever skill checks he's thinking.
Go ahead and do a persuasion, and you can do it at advantage. How are you helping? Like, what do you say, or what do you do to?
I'll just be supporting his action or what he said verbally, as well as
And more, I guess I'll more or less say that. I guess would we know? We didn't necessarily ask the laws of the town or anything, or if we need to check in or anything like that. So we're willing to comply. We're here to visit the orphanage to ensure that our companions have arrived with the children that we recovered from the mill.
All right. Yeah. Just go ahead and give me a persuasion with advantage. Basically, my presumption is that Zoltan is trying to not look like an asshole.
Yeah, it's difficult, but yeah.
Here's my help action. I won't make this worse by shutting up.
So I got an 11 and a 20. So
Okay.
26
Zoltan,
total.
I'm so proud of you. Just want you to know that. I just want you to know. I'm so proud of you now.
He's not pointing out squared up eyes or something like that.
I'm so proud of you right now, Zoltan.
Trying to smile, possibly.
That's right. Yeah, they look at you both and they shrug to themselves. Whether they're apathetic or they just like believe your story, you seem like you're reasonable enough. Yeah, they sort of uncross their pikes and say, "Very well. There's a guard inside. He will take an account of your names and equipment. Be sure to comply with all rules and laws of Vallaki. Trust me, you do not want to cause trouble here. So enjoy your stay."
And I'll add at the end, trouble is not our aim.
Good.
We're not here to make any trouble. Though you mentioned rules and laws, is there a posting of these such laws so we can follow them accordingly?
Yeah, the guard in there will give you a copy, I'm sure.
All right, thank you.
It looks like this guy's probably more apathetic than his partner, so he's just kind of like, anyway, yeah, just, you got you. The guy that's in here is a little bit more portly. There's probably a reason why he's behind a desk and not doing anything else. He has a chain shirt that he's wearing and a tabard that sort of shows the Vallakian crest on it, and it's like maybe a size too small for him. As the chain shirt, his belly is actually like sticking out underneath of the chain shirt and the tabard that he's wearing, and he's sort of like laying back, kind of snoring away. And then the guard that shows you in kind of hears it and slams his pike into the back of the wall and says, "Jared, get up!" Or Gerard, rather. "Gerard, get up! You've got a citizen requesting your services. And the other guard next to him snickers and shakes their head. As sort of Jared goes like, yes, hi citizen, yes, welcome, yes, oh my, you're quite shiny and not so shiny. Sorry, you're here to, yes, of course, I must write down your, so you're very pretty, blonde, blue eyes. Bright smile. Oh my.
Are you flirting? Excuse me.
And he'll kind of like
You're not there, Jack.
try and catch himself.
That's true. I could do an insight.
Yeah, seems to be enamored with you at some level, and it takes like maybe a little bit more time that you think is necessary to really sketch out in detail, like actually sketching you for like a mugshot almost, and kind of like is really getting into it for some reason. Then finally he goes over to Zoltan, and 2 scimitars, blackish brown hair, brown eyes, leather armor.
Not interested whatsoever.
Takes your name, yada yada yada, but like takes literally like 60 seconds to do Zoltan, where he takes like at least 10 minutes to do Lunaris. So and then he draws like a circle and like 2 little dots and a little squiggle for his smile, and like and then a couple of things, but like literally art versus child's finger painting in terms of what your picture looks like. So and yeah, basically allows you to go in from there.
Would you be as kind to point the direction in the orphanage? We'd like to see if our companions have arrived.
Yeah, it's actually just right this way, just down the street. You can't miss it. So you have you'll see the church over there with the gated area, and it's just across the street. You can't miss it. Before you leave, I have to warn you about the laws in Vallaki. These are very important. Give me a second here.
Laws, yes, we like laws.
Good. I knew I was doing something. There we go. So none shall give none shall give voice to the devil's name or carry written documentation of his name upon it. None shall defame or slander the Baron. None shall defame or slander the festivals. Any documentation that presents either in ill light or frowned of either are frowned upon and will be dealt with accordingly. All must take part in the preparing of the festivals. Because you are visitors, you don't have to prepare to take part. But as number 4 indicates, all shall attend the festivals, even if you're a visitor. None shall harm or bring harm to fellow Vallakians. None shall steal from fellow Vallakian persons, homes, or establishments, whether public or private. And none shall deface or despoil public or private property. Anyone who breaks these edicts are subject to the following, any of the following, depending on the severity of their crime. Time in the stocks. Time will range from anywhere between a day to a few weeks, depending on the severity of the crime. Seizure of assets, if direct punishment seems insufficient, the Baron and his men will have the right to collect a payment for their crimes. This can be something as small as a fine to the complete seizure of the criminal's home, business, and or other assets. Imprisonment at Vallaki's Reformation Center until the criminal is purged of their sin. 4. Personal reformation conducted by the Baron himself, or of course public execution by hanging. Morale means everything. A happy Vallaki is a safe Vallaki. All shall be well. Signed, Baron Vargas Vallakovich, Burgomaster of Vallaki. And he rolls it up. He's like, there you are. You know the rules. Don't break them.
That shouldn't be a problem. We will follow them to the letter.
Excellent. I knew I could count on someone of your grand stature. All right.
It's kind of funny because I'm not a lawful person, but I just said it because I
you're
knew
not,
that's what he
you're not
needed to
lawful
hear.
good?
No, I'm neutral good.
What kind of paladin are you?
I am
unusual one.
I am a paladin with an iron helmet and fist.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Well, yeah. Tears the fist, so.
All right.
So let's go to. Were we going to the orphanage? I don't remember, or we just asked him where it was.
I believe.
Yep, across from the church.
Yep. All right.
So timeline-wise, I imagine that they'd probably be there first because we spent a bit of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I who cares? You guys are there now. So you see, just as you guys were about to walk in to the orphanage there, you happen to see Zoltan and Lunaris coming down, and you guys see Jax, Grimbald, Ireena, and the 3 children just about to enter the orphanage. Happy timing.
Perfect. Happy accident. Well, hail. Good, nice to see you here. I was just wondering if you.
Where have you been?
Investigating. We've been investigating to try and find out where these children may have went. Found some good information. Met some very charming Vistani men.
Charming is putting it lightly.
Oh.
And it appears that the child that we are looking for is the niece to Zoltan's cousin.
Oh, lovely. Well, let's get these kids inside and you can fill us in more when, we have everything settled here.
Indeed.
All right. Give me a second to... Good. So, are you guys just walking in? Or are you letting the kids walk in? What do you do?
We're following behind the kiddos.
Yeah.
Or I am, anyway.
All right.
Okay.
So, it will be Lucian, then, who will open the door and be the first one inside. Let me just make sure this is... Sneaky suspicion I didn't lock it. Okay, I did lock it. Good. And yeah, without any real ceremony, he says, "Headmistress, I'm home."
I love that.
Do you guys walk in? The kids are a little bit... So these two
Yeah.
haven't been here before, so
Okay.
they're a little bit more timid.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Wait,
I'll
so
follow.
they're not
I'll follow
orphans. Where did
behind
they come from,
Lucian.
then?
I'll follow behind Lucian.
Oh, yeah. So Myrtle and Freak tell you that they were actually originally from Barovia, and a couple basically... So they haven't really said too much, so they haven't really told much, but basically they're from Barovia, and that they were stolen from their home and ended up in the hag's place. Lucian was with another boy, Jared, who didn't fare as well. So, but they were originally from the orphanage. But yeah. Okay. So the first thing, so I'll say this. Once in getting inside the walls, the atmosphere... So this building has rises 2 full stories above the ground, its stonework bearing the weight of time and neglect. A third smaller story protrudes from the roof line, forming a long attic, apparently, that stretches across the length of the building. The windows gaze outward with weary panes, hinting at the stories held within. As you enter into the hall, what you notice first is dozens of shoes on the left side, of various sizes, but all clearly children's shoes. There seems to be a bit of noise coming from deeper into the home. It's quite grand. It seems like it's kept fairly neat and tidy and everything like that. And it's not very long before, out of the back door over here, a woman in her 50s comes in, seeing and almost kind of rushing at first when she recognizes that Lucian has come into back home. There's obviously a shock on her face, but her overall demeanor seems to be that of gray streaked, like kind of dark hair, tightly bound bun for her hair, and it sort of wars against these fine wrinkles that etch her mouth, likely from years of disapproving frowns. And there, you can tell that it cracks for a second as she's like her eyes widen and she seems almost elated to see Lucian, but then it's instantly returns as she sees all of you and also two new children sort of grace her presence.
Well, at least she's not upset to see him, so that's good.
That's right.
In a manner of speaking.
And so
That's good.
That's right. That's right. So I'll just quickly. Oops. This is kind of what they look like. So she almost sort of stumbles along her words for a moment, and then she sort of stands up, sort of stock still, and as you enter the building, and says, "Lucian, who are your friends, and how did you come? Where were you? Where have you been?"
Well, I guess. Well, should we tell her the truth?
I mean, are we gonna let Lucian to answer? Yeah.
He
kind of directed at him.
He has basically, as like bombastic as he was coming in and everything like that, as soon as he sees her, he kind of withers a little bit and sort of stands up straight, but like kind of lowers his head kind of ashamedly and is fumbling around with his words himself.
All right, so I'll come up behind Lucian, just kind of reassuring, little hand on the shoulder, and just kind of look at her, and I'll say, Lucian, as well as his two new friends here, were both stolen by a family of hags in the woods, and we have saved all three of them and are trying to bring them back to a safe place.
She kind of like, puts her hand to her chest and is like horrified at the thought of what the children might have gone through. And then she suddenly looks around, it's like, but what about Jared? Lucian, where's Jared? He can't meet her eyes and just kind of, for once, actually looks not cowed, but like actually sad, about the implications of what happened to him.
Yeah.
Although he doesn't really know for sure, he didn't see anything. But yeah.
I
These are
don't
the
think
only
any
children.
of the other children who were there survived, ma'am.
Bernadette, she suddenly calls out. And then sort of nice, she's probably about 16, auburn, almost like Pippi Longstocking kind of hair. She has a kind of a nurse's sort of outfit, or a maid's outfit, and she goes, "Yes, headmistress." It's like, and she'll say, "Bernadette, please take these children. Make sure that they are fed proper, have them washed, have them clothed, and have them join the other children for their studies." There's sort of like a stern command about her that doesn't allow any sort of question about what's going to happen, sort of thing. So she's got it. She's very tightly wound, very well-oiled sort of machine kind of thing. And the girl certainly gathers up the children, makes sure that they get their shoes if they have shoes, which they do, but they're pretty busted up and hurting, sort of thing. Puts them in the pile properly, and ushers them upstairs, and seems to actually ushers them into the back to the kitchen first to get something to eat. And she said, "I beg your pardons. I am Headmistress Claudia Belasco. Please, won't you join me for a moment, and perhaps you can tell me the whole story? I have to admit, I can't imagine what happened to Jared, but I must know if you would tell me the story.
I'm gonna keep my lips sealed here, knowing that whatever comes out of my mouth will offend and scare everybody who has ears.
She'll welcome you into the room over to the left here.
If you really must know, then we'll tell you. So you said the left?
Yeah, to the left.
Okay, I'm coming.
Oh, these guys over here.
Is there any perception that I should be rolling here, possibly?
If you want to.
I would like to yields.
Okay.
Yields. 13 yields.
So yeah, it looks like this place has been reasonably well furnished. Everything looks like it's got patches or it's kind of a hand-me-down, very old sort of thing. There are lots of dolls that are kind of in this area. This looks like kind of a living space where they either take their meals or entertain guests when they do have some. There's a doll house over here as well. So this kind of serves as both playroom and just a place for people to meet. You kind of suspect that this is where, if people do seek adoption, this is where they would probably have the kids play and then have potential parents or adoptive parents come and play with the kids and everything like that. She ends up sitting down on this chair over here and quite straight back, even though there's a footstool there, and welcomes you to join them. Take a seat wherever you want to, kind of thing.
Okay.
You said you rolled a 13, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is anybody else coming in? Are you guys going to stay over
I
there?
was just thinking that too. I'm like, should I? Or should I open this door and see what's on the other side of it?
I'll kind of stand behind the couch here and to the side and just kind of lean on it a bit.
Yes, I'll sit.
I got my chair.
I'll
Where's
take a seat
Ireena?
over here.
Ireena will sit on the couch.
Grimbald's always in the back.
Mhm.
Jax, you're the first one to see right here on this doll. There's a little tag, and you just happen to look down as you're kind of looking, and the tag reads, "Is no fun, is no Blinsky."
Is no fun, is no Blinsky?
That's right.
Okay.
So it's almost like a little tag. Yeah.
Is it like something that somebody wrote on there, or is it something that the doll was made with?
That's right. It looks like, it suggests that it's probably the manufacturer is Blinsky of some kind, but it's its tag. It's Blinsky's tagline apparently. Is no fun, is no
Okay.
Blinsky.
That's cute.
Yeah. And yeah, so the headmistress kind of is trying not to visibly reveal her anxiety and her concern, but she's clearly wringing her hands a little bit and is just steeling herself for the story.
Where do we begin, guys?
You you want the ugly truth or the quick and easy truth?
I think to some degree you've told me the quick and easy, but if you could at least tell me whether or not this threat has been taken, and if you know of how the children arrived at that place. All I know is, on my end, was that Jared and Lucian, they can be some of the most rambunctious of my 24 children that I have living here, and at times they go out playing with different people out in the streets and everything like that, and I lose track of them. Well, one night they just simply did not come home. I asked around, and the guards had said that they had left through the gate to the west, and that they hadn't seen them since.
Well,
That was almost a week ago.
the other two we've known to have come from Barovia. And Zell, you said that they were taken, they were kidnapped and then sold. All right.
Yeah, you didn't really get too much out of them, or rather, they didn't volunteer very much. So
Right. We don't know too much. We haven't talked to them too much, but we know they hail from Barovia. They were taken against their will and then sold to the women at the mill. The ugly truth is the women at the mill that have been supplying the pies were the ones that were the hags.
she looks like genuinely horrified at that news, and says, "Those pies feed so many people, and they always seem so nice. I had only met Granny myself, and I've eaten her pies, so I think I realized that something was amiss with the nature of the effects of those pies, but
Yeah, some of us has experienced those effects as well. And though
When is
we
the...
go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
When
it's
is
fine.
the last time you saw Granny?
she comes from Barovia to Vallaki every few weeks at the very least, staying one week in one place and then 1 week in the other. Oftentimes, from what I recall, taking time to stay at home with her daughters, but I don't know that much about them.
Has it been a few weeks since you've seen her here?
Yes, I would say she's due the next week or so at least. I should imagine she usually goes to the town center, the town square rather, and sells her pies out of her cart there.
Do you know if she visits home with her daughters before she comes here, or does she go there after here?
I believe so. I assume, resupplies or cooks to
Okay.
get her resupply.
We
tell-
might...
Yeah,
Not to know
I
that.
don't know if you were going to mention that too, but the threat is not over, unfortunately.
How do you mean?
Though we were only able to do what we could. The grotesque hags, they transformed in front of us, and we did battle, and we brought down the divine smite of the heavens upon one of them. Unfortunately, the other one escaped, and we haven't seen Granny either.
I see.
We'll do what we can to help protect you and the children here, but that's why we have to communicate on what everybody knows. So
The severity of the situation, we do not want to hide anything. The truth is to be revealed at some point. At least it should be.
Well, thank you for... Where are my manners? Thank you, in any case, for your heroism and what you've done for Lucian at the very least, and for the other children, of course. You said their names were Myrtle and Freak.
yes.
Well, they, as all children ought to, they have a home here, and so we will certainly take care of them with no mind. I've had an award or reward for the children. It was meant to be 5 gold pieces per child, but if I was not expecting 3, if 10 gold pieces, and she reaches into her coin purse and counts out 10 gold pieces. It's like, it's not much, it's all we have, but thank you sincerely for helping the children. She looks a little forlorn, but yeah, gives you the 10 gold pieces in any case.
I don't think we need this much, do we, guys?
I don't think so.
No, I
How
don't
about-
think so either.
1 gold
One
piece
piece.
each. We'll
I
take
think
the
that's-
original 5. You can keep
I
the
think
other
that's
5.
plenty.
She bows her head and thanks you, and just hands out the 5 gold pieces. Then 1 to Ireena, who isn't particularly comfortable taking it, but she'll take it anyway. Trying not to be rude, basically.
This is what the other gentleman did, and we pay for it as well. That's what they said they wanted us to do, right? I think.
Yeah, pretty much. She kind of, brushes down her dress a little bit, and sort of like goes to stand at the back of the chair, looking at the window, kind of hugging her arms for a moment, and seems to be, a little disturbed or contemplative.
Can I do an insight check?
Sure.
Does someone else want to do an insight check?
I rolled a nat 20 plus 3, so
One.
Lunaris thinks it's like business is concluded, and you pretty much think she's just saying, "Okay, get out," kind of thing.
More or less.
Whereas
sword
Jax,
door.
you pick up like there's something else going on. She looks like she is very, very worried about something. It's difficult to tell what, but she seems very disturbed and concerned.
There's not a way for us to figure out what's on her mind just without asking, unfortunately.
Not really.
Yeah. Ma'am, may I ask what's bothering you?
She turns around and she kind of looks like she blinks up for a second, and this woman looks like she's got herself just really like tightly in control the whole time. And it looks like she literally forces herself not to be crying at all. She looks quite upset, particularly when you ask her. And she looks at you and considers you for a moment, before she finally takes a deep breath and says, "If I'm perfectly honest, I'm uncertain if any of the children here are safe. Something else has been going on in this place that I can't understand, or it's difficult to explain, but something terrible is happening, and I don't know why. The children have been waking up with night terrors for the past week, or 2 even. And just the past day, 3 or 4 days ago, some of them were coming to me with terrible bruises or wounds with no explanation of how they got them, saying that it happened to them in their sleep." And then she pauses for a bit, and she again looks like she's trying really hard to hold it together. "A boy who has been here for months now, Cedric, was found dead outside. The authorities said that it was an accident, that he had fallen from the upstairs window. But there's something else going on here, and I don't know what to do. Father Lucian across the street, not, of course, Lucian the boy, he has done what he can, but something seems off with him as well. And I'm sorry, I know you've just met me and you've just helped me so much with these children, but perhaps I can ask, if it's not too much trouble, for your aid in finding out what's going on here. If you have that ability, you seem the saintly sort. And she kind of points specifically to Lunaris when she says that. And certainly all able adventurers, if that's something that you would consider.
You know, we're not entirely sure why we're here, but I'm beginning to think that we're here for a reason. We are meant to help and save the souls of this land. I assure you we will do everything we can to discover what is happening.
Yes. Is this... Would I know if this was in any way tied possibly to hags and all their dream stuff? So I have that knowledge that I rolled on them before, or...
It's possible. Hags are known to be able to attack people in dreams. Night hags in particular. It sounds similar. You couldn't be too sure without really examining the kids, getting to know whether or not these were nightmares, what their nightmares were about,
right?
That sort of thing. But it's possible that might be the source. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else like in my brain that might go off as like here's a possibility? What should I roll for here?
You can roll Arcana, I suppose.
Okay, I just got a 17.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible. There are different denizens across the plains that could have something to do with it. Ghosts or demons of certain sorts might affect dreams. Might be, haunting the place are the first things that come to mind. There's nothing specific with that role that you necessarily have. Zoltan probably has similar inkling that it could be some kind of ghost or demonic activity.
Scary dudes.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are all just the different things we're thinking.
Yeah,
possibly.
without any really specific evidence or investigation of what's going on, you couldn't narrow it down that quite yet.
Okay. Okay. We have some other important things to attend to that are on a very tight timeline. But when we return, do you think we could maybe talk to the children and have a look around? Would that be possible?
Yes, of course. We would give you every resource that you need, of course. The children, I understand what they call me. They call me Miss Witch. And I know that I am strict and that I'm firm. But I do love them. These are my children, so long as they are under my building, under my roof. And I need to protect them.
It's not easy, I'm sure, taking care of especially many children. So they will understand when they're older that it's a lot of effort on your part, and that what you're doing is just trying to make sure they're safe.
She kind of gives a weak smile and then nods, hopefully. But yes, in any case, I don't want to keep you from your business, whatever it might be.
Lunaris, Zoltan, do you know more about where we should be going next? Maybe Miss Claudia can give us some direction, or
at the moment we have the majority of the Vistani village to the southwest. They are canvassing the area or looking around the area around the lake, and they recommended we come here to Vallaki and see if we can find any more precise information about where Arabelle might be.
What's this about? You're looking for Arabelle?
Yes, do you know who Arabelle is? Does she know the kids
Hey,
here?
Phoebe.
I know of her. I think I've met her once. The children tend to play with her from time to time. I don't let them out of the city very often, or the town very often. But they sometimes get away with many things that they shouldn't.
Yes, we
play with some
heard
of the
from the
Vistani
people.
children.
We heard from the people outside the west gate that they see them heading off to the lake sometimes. Have you heard anything about that?
I'm sure that some of them do. There's two or
that-
three that I can think of that I believe have mentioned her name.
Well, when we're able to, we'll speak to them because we need to find where Arabelle may be, and we highly suspect that she's by the lake.
Yes, of course. I can get them for you presently if you so desire.
That sounds good. We have to end now? Are we done? Or
Yeah, we'll finish up here in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, so she will call out to another lady, apparently, Bridget, who comes in. This one is a lot older, like 85 years old at least, like very old croon. And yet, for some reason, she seems to be faster than the other one and very busybody, very, sort of think Miss Potts, Mrs. Potts or whatever, from, what is it? Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. So she's got that kind of energy. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And she says, yes, headmistress. And she will instruct the little lady to gather up the children who know Arabelle. She thinks about it for a moment and thinks that Milos, Marishka, and Radovan are the three that she recalls. And after about 5-10 minutes, the three children eventually come in, all in their own strange way, and are standing for you. But we'll leave that here for today, and we'll pick it up next time. Talking to...
Well, thank you. That was great. Thanks,
Yeah.
Michael.
Thanks much.
I was trying to be less
Thank you.
aggressive this time in my conversation.
Less angry, less aggro.
It was difficult. Maybe
I
I mean,
next
that's,
time we
your,
interact with
that's just
people.
your character's personality.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I said, there was lots of potential for combat, technically. It depended on how you reacted into what situation.
So did we go along the right path then?
You took a very reasonable path this time, which is good planning. We'll say good planning on your part for that one. But yes, thanks guys
everybody. That
for
was fun.
playing. Yeah, and we'll catch you next time on Curse of Strahd: The Beckoning.
Awesome.
Have a great time.